All right, so we are back with our first official episode. We did a test episode before, saw some stuff we wanted to change, and we are back. So we don't know what we're going to call the podcast yet. We'll think of a name. We've been throwing stuff back and forth, but it hasn't been on the urgency list, really just kind of figuring out how we're going to record, when we're going to record, and then maybe watch the first episode and kind of settle on something after that. But
that's the hardest part, is trying to figure out the title.
There's so many out there already.
So many out there, yeah.
So, why should you pay attention to our podcast? Well, we don't really know. We don't really want to pigeonhole ourselves, so we're having a discussion on what we want this podcast to be about. But I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Bobby.
Matt.
I own a gym in Enumclaw, Washington. I'm a jiu-jitsu black belt. I've been in local city government. I just kind of done a lot of things in my life already. For only about to turn 44.
Yeah. Matt, brown belt under Bobby. Really been into health lately. I think we both have. Especially when you get to your 40s, it's like you really got to start batting down the hatches when it comes to health and nutrition and stuff. And being here, like we got jiu-jitsu here, weights, group classes, HIT, cardio machines, red light therapy, vibration blades, energy drinks, tons of them. So yeah, it's just a journey, and it's a great place to be. So hopefully we're going to share some of that knowledge that we've gained with you guys and go from there.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I don't really know playing with the format, because I like when people talk about like relevant stuff, like current event type stuff but at the same time, I don't want to really get bogged down. We were talking a little bit before that. We here at Enumclaw Jiu-Jitsu, we have a fairly successful kids and youth program. Our adults that compete, they do really well too. And we were kind of talking about some of that school philosophy. Actually, one of my blue belts, but highly experienced, been training for a long time, did MMA, does judo, highly experienced blue belt, just got through teaching one of our competition classes.
Brand new.
Competition class. Yeah, this is the third week, and that kind of got us thinking about some of the school philosophy we have. Anything you want to say on the topic? Like, you've been to a few schools?
I've been to a few. I started off in Issaquah at Gracie Baja. It was a great place, very gi-centric, which is probably why I like gi, because I trained it so much. Mm-hmm. But then you realize as you move on and you move up in belts, how many different types of games there are. And it's constantly evolving.
Absolutely.
Like the sport is just, new submissions are being discovered and or invented, and different philosophies as far as, like we're known for pressure and pins. A lot of top game, pushing down. I didn't experience that at other places. Yeah. Some places are focused on leg entries. Yeah. It just depends.
Well, that's kind of thanks to my coach. I'm always, because I've been training for a really long time now. I mean, officially, if you go jiu-jitsu, I think I was 30 when I started. So you're talking like from the time I put on a gi and said I'm going to learn jiu-jitsu, I was 30. But even before that, like with MMA and just wanting to be good at fighting. I did some grappling classes, trained with some wrestlers. One of my best friends, he was like, I don't know, it's probably purple belt level at jiu-jitsu when we were living in North Carolina, and we had mats. And I lived for 3 years. We'd train like after we were running a gym out there. After the gym closed, we'd train in the kids' room. We put the mats out. We trained there for like 3 years, 3 times a week. Yeah. So, and you can learn a lot from a purple belt when you don't know anything.
Well, I remember, wasn't it Rich Franklin, former UFC middleweight champion? He taught himself jiu-jitsu from, they would like got VHS tapes and put it in the garage and just tried it.
Well, that's kind of what we did. He was, when you're a purple belt, he knew enough to where he could order a book or a DVD and, read it, understand it, and then drill it and practice it. And we'd kind of learn it together with his guidance when the gym closed in the kids' room. So we did that for years. So I was fairly experienced when I started actually saying, okay, I want to learn jiu-jitsu when I was 30. But in that time, being around my coach and the environment they created with their gym, he was never satisfied. Even when he got his black belt, he took over the following year or two after he got his black belt, and still to this day it's still going. He took in his 40s, maybe he was late 30s at the time, but anyway, he took a massive leap in skill at black belt. And I got to watch that, and it kind of set in my head that, hey, once you get your black belt, it's that whole cheesy, it's really the first belt. It's not, but you can look at it as an opportunity to kick your feet up and say, I've arrived, or you can look at it as an opportunity to expand. And I think that if you run a school and you're still expanding and learning and not pigeonholing yourself in one kind of style or saying, oh, that's little guy jiu-jitsu, I can't do that, I'm 6'6", right? I can't do that, it's little guy jiu-jitsu. You're really kind of holding yourself back, and in turn, if you're at the top, that flows down to everybody below you.
Right.
So they see you still going out and learning, and I think that's going to trickle down to everybody at your school.
Would you say a black belt, though, is like when you get that, you're kind of a master of foundational principles? Like you got that foundation laid out to actually start learning and implementing?
If you were to ask me like years ago, I would say yes. But the thing I've realized at black belt, I think that is a part of it for a lot of people. But there's such a wide variety of black belts in 2026. Like right. I've rolled with black belts, and I'm not going to name any names or any schools or anything like that. And there's might be a good reason for it, right? What you expect from one person isn't what you can expect from another. But I've rolled with black belts that are, they're good, they're solid, they're nice people. They're going to get their training. But I was like, oh, okay, cool. This is a black belt, right? And then I've rolled with like competition, compete all the time, high level purple belts. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this person is significantly better than that black belt I rolled with 2 days ago, right? So I think that there is a large variety. In theory, I think that, for most people, when you get to a black belt, you should at least, even if you can't apply them, understand, foundational principles. Like I can watch a movie nowadays or a YouTube video nowadays, and then go in and understand the technique just from watching it, and then go in and start practicing and applying it live rolling. And I guess that maybe comes from an understanding of when you're watching something, knowing what's actually happening and why it's happening and why it works, to where, if you were to ask someone at blue belt, they'd be like, I have no idea what's going on there when they're watching that video.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just now getting into that.
Yeah.
Like being a new brown belt, it's like you realize how much you don't know and how much you still have to learn.
Yeah.
And when I was purple, I was kind of figuring out what my game was, and I do a lot of lapel stuff because I'm old. It's like I need that extra crush, that extra tool. And now that I'm brown, I'm kind of understanding concepts.
Yeah.
Concepts a little bit more than I did before, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's just like that's a new area that I'm trying to become advanced in, is the conceptual jiu-jitsu, top pressure, working off my back. What can you do off your back, and like how you goad your opponent into doing something that, because you have it in your head what you want to do.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's definitely going to, do this move, and then I can, grab it or whatever. But it's like, it's just ever evolving, like learning just constantly. And that's like when I got injured, when I tore my pectoral tendon, I came back and I couldn't be on the mats, but I still came, because you can still learn by watching it, and you just kind of
100%.
stay in that,
can absorb it.
You got to stay in that environment.
And I think most important when that happens, when you're like dealing with an injury, is coming in is just the practice of still keeping it in your schedule and making time for it. Because I find that when something like falls out of practice, it's much, much harder to get back into it, as opposed to if you never let it leave your schedule and kind of let it be part of your life still, even when you're recovering. It's easier to kind of step back in and be like, okay, cool, we're doing this again, this is already still here, and now I'm just showing up and getting on the mats as opposed to sitting on the sidelines.
It's easy to not go.
Oh, 100%.
It's super easy to not go.
Well, it's easy to justify not going because you're dealing with an injury, right? So it's like, oh, okay, cool, I'm not going to go because I'm dealing with this injury. Part of that core philosophy, and I think kind of what sets not apart, because I guess there's more and more schools doing it more than ever, but a core philosophy that I like for the school is so my rule here is that if you're an active member of any other jiu-jitsu gym, you can always train here for free.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is I always want cool people coming through the gym and new people coming to the gym, so it's benefits them. They get to kind of see what we're all about, and then our students get people to roll with who are not their normal rolling partners, so they get different looks, which is really good. I think kind of when I first started jiu-jitsu, that was a big no-no. There's a word for it, a Portuguese word that the Brazilians use for people who train at other gyms, but it's especially like akin to betrayal almost.
Yeah, what is that word?
I don't know. Have you heard? You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. It's the second most used word other than os.
I hate that word os.
No.
But yeah, it was highly frowned upon at almost every school. Cross training was. And I never really had that philosophy. I'd like to go drop into open mats and go train with other people. And anybody that has something to show me, I'm willing to listen and watch and learn. And I pass that down. Like, I realize my limitations as a coach and as a teacher, and I encourage my students to, hey, there's things that I'm not going to be able to do or show you just because they're not in my wheelhouse, or I haven't learned them yet, or I don't know them. So if you go somewhere else and you learn something, awesome. It makes everybody in the room better here on the mats.
Right.
And because of that, well, you've seen there's weeks where we have 4 or 5 people from other schools dropping by to open mat. Sometimes they drop by and take classes. We'll post
and they're all great people.
100%.
Really good people.
We'll post a guest instructor up online, and they come and they check out the guest instructor. And I, most of the time, unless someone's really expensive, I don't ever charge for guest instructors. I like to just, a treat from the school. Hey, thank you for being part of this community. Here's a guest instructor who's going to come teach. But I don't think there's still several schools out here that don't share that philosophy. And
there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
I mean, they can, for them, if it works for them,
Well, here's the deal. Like, you don't have to have that same philosophy. And you're going to run your business and your school and your program, how you're going to run it. But I question what the motive for not having that philosophy is. And I'm open to just simply not being able to understand it, because it really doesn't make any sense to me. Because in my head, if I were to get mad at somebody for cross training or for going to other schools and training at other schools, if they disappear from your mats and they're only coming in once a month and they're training at other schools, cool. Like, have a discussion. Hey, what's going on? Are you still part of this team? Like, what do you want? I mean, that's just, staying in touch with your students and making sure you know what's going on in your school. But if they're still regularly training at your place and they're also going to other schools and you have a problem with that, it makes me question what the motive for that problem is. Is it an ego thing? Are you worried that they're learning more, or they're going to realize that you can't take them to a specific level that they want to go to? And if that's the case, is it right for you to be upset at them for you not being able to get them there?
Well, that's the thing too. Is
I'm not saying that if you're a coach, listen to this, you go, well, that's not why. I'm open to there being other reasons. I'm just trying to talk through it in my head.
Right, but also it's about the student, right? Like if you
need to do what's best for your students.
Right. And like when I come here, if I go train somewhere else, it's not because I'm not learning here. It's because I want to expand my knowledge base.
Well, there's things that I'm not going to be able to show. For me to think that I am not the best black belt there is in the area.
Nobody is. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me to think that I'm going to be able to show a student everything is ridiculous. And it's, you don't have to know how to do everything to be a good coach. And I think part of being a good coach is recognizing your limitations and encouraging your students to go out there and push past those. Especially if it's not something that you can take on yourself or you're going to be able to expand and know. Time constraints are real, man. I mean, you see my schedule.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, if you got to encourage your students to do that if you want to have a successful program nowadays, I think. And maybe I'm wrong about that. Like I said, I'm not the smartest guy in the world.
Well, you'll even do that during classes, like day class. Mm-hmm. You'll show a transition to a submission. Mm-hmm. And then as we're doing it, you notice that we're all doing it wrong. You're like, oh, I forgot to mention this part. And so we'll bring it back in and refine it, tune it up and go from there. So even if you know the move, you might not teach the move right.
100%.
So yeah.
Well, yeah. You're always gonna. So the problem is, so I like the games with constraints methods. We've been doing a lot here lately. I can't remember what they call it, the ecological approach.
Right.
Like I like that, and it's fun, and I think it has its place. Admittedly, there are things, and my coach would be like, "There's, you could only teach ecological approach, and you're going to be good." And maybe he's right, and I'm just not good enough at teaching it yet. But there are still times where, like, I will not every class, but I'll notice that everyone's doing something wrong, and I'll point it out to the whole class, when really with the ecological approach, you're not supposed to give the answers. The answers are supposed to be discovered, right?
Right.
But the question always is, when you're teaching that really intricate stuff, is how deep do you want to go? like, because we could start talking about every little nuance, and I could spend 45 minutes of a class talking about, why I put my left foot here and my right foot here, and I grab the wrist with this grip as opposed to this grip. But, if they do this, you want to switch this grip, and you could go down that rabbit hole forever. But usually my method now is show the move, teach the move with 3 or 4 bullet points, and then leave it at that. Let everyone go practice it. Kind of look at what everyone's doing. Okay, cool. Everyone's getting all these parts right, but most people are getting this wrong. And then bring it back in, talk about that, and then you just kind of keep stripping away and getting down to it. To where the ecological approach is you set up a game. You say, hey, all right, here's how we're going to start, and you get everyone in a specific position. You can use the arm bar, for instance. We're going to start in the arm bar position from close guard. If you're the person on top, you get in this position, person on bottom, you get in this position, and then here's the win positions or the win conditions for both of you guys. Right. Or one of you guys, depending on how you're working it. And then you say go, and you refine. As opposed to refining the technique, you refine the game to where people are arriving at the answer on their own. And a good ecological coach can get it to where a lot of people in class are arriving at that answer.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like it was, what's that, King of the Hill? Mm-hmm. Like you starting in half guard or half guard knee shield, and then
specifics, we call it.
Specifics, yeah. And that's a good way because you give them a starting point. Tell them what they need to accomplish, whichever side they're on, if they're on bottom, top, and then watching them navigate that route to get to that.
Absolutely.
And like they're all going to do it differently. Yeah.
Well, and the thing with the ecological approach is similar to specifics, but it's 4 time with resetting. So at least the way I've been taught, and there might be another way, like I said, but it's usually like same person on top and bottom for 2 minutes.
Right.
And then you'll switch the positions, the top and the bottom. Then you can also switch partners as well. So it's a little bit more specific than specifics.
Right.
But I like both methods, and I see the value to specifics. And my coach really likes it, so I've tried. And he, it's for a reason. So I've tried incorporating that more and more and more and more and more. I think they're going to do a coaches clinic. To where,
are they?
To where they have a specifics coach come in and teach the coaches how to teach specifics.
Teach how to teach?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you, when you had me teach Monday nights, which I still do, like, you're like, hey, you want to teach Monday? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And so my first class, I was like, well, we're going to go over half guard. And like you get it in your head what you're going to do, and then you get here and it's just completely gone.
Yeah.
You're like,
becoming a coach is it's very hard thing.
It's one of the hardest things I've ever done, teaching.
Again, thank you to my coach. When I started teaching when I was a blue belt, and looking back, like I got compliments and stuff, and I had 1 or 2 people that didn't like my style of teaching, which is going to happen, right? They just don't come to your class anymore, and that's fine. But the evolution from where I was then to where I am now is night and day difference. And I really think that if you want to get really good at jiu-jitsu and you have the opportunity to teach, don't be nervous. You're not going to be good in the beginning. It's normal. But just get out there and start teaching, and you're going to see your game, because you have to really kind of think about things when you're teaching. And if you're used to rolling a lot, or you're used to attending class and drilling, the same set of moves for a while, you don't, you kind of go into autopilot. Where when you're teaching, there is no, I guess you can go autopilot, but you're not going to be a great coach. You really have to strip everything down and think about it, and it makes your game better.
Well, that too, and you have your game plan in your head, before you come to class and teach. It's like, we're going to go over this, and then this is going to lead to that. And you have it in your head, right? Yeah. But when you get here and you start training it and teaching it, you're realizing that they're not picking it up.
Yes.
So that you kind of have to
adjust your approach.
Like, if they're not getting it, do I say, okay, we're going to bag this and then move on to keep up with the time that you had in your head? Or do you want to make sure that they get it right? And then,
Well, the other part of that too is you'll realize as you coach for, years. So we have like a theme of the month. So we work on, like this month is back control and finishes.
Yeah.
Right. So you have a couple of options and ways you could do it. So I'll stick with a theme, but a lot of times I don't know who's going to be in class or the level of everyone in class. So I'll just not have any game plan, and I'll show up and see who's in class and be like, all right, here's what we need to go over.
We've been doing that the last few Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Day class. What do you guys want to go over, this or this?
Exactly. And, you know, that also comes with wealth of knowledge. Like the longer you've been doing jiu-jitsu and the more you know, the more you're going to be able to do that because you have a better understanding of more stuff, right?
Right.
So, but I like that approach too, and just kind of asking people, especially if it's like 2 or 3 people in class, like hook them up, give them like a, you know, go around and show one thing to each of them and give them like a little modified private. It's good. It's good for the
Right.
students too.
Well, I found that too. One of the schools I trained at prior to here, in between, you know, where I started and where I'm at now, it was a weekly thing. So you had weekly themes.
Yeah.
But if you miss a whole week, you got to wait all, you know, for another 14, 15 weeks, whatever, to go over that when that's something you really want to do. You just couldn't get there. But doing it by month, it's like you're completely absorbed in that philosophy,
Yeah.
that role or that type of jiu-jitsu, whether, you know, like this, what is it, back attacks?
Yeah, back control,
and attacks.
And attacks, yeah.
So you have that, so you know whichever class you're going to
Yes.
is going to be something based on that theme.
You know, another thing I did that I was unsure of at first, but Saturday open mat. Some people work Saturdays, and they can never make open mat. Yeah.
Right.
So adding a Thursday evening open mat was huge. And the mat is packed here on Thursday evening. People come from other schools and stuff too because people love open mats.
They were great.
Have you seen the meme of Chappelle as, was it Tyrone Biggums? And he's like, you got any more of those open mats? Yeah. But people love open mats. And that Thursday night open mat was a huge boost for the gym where a lot of people started coming through. I don't know why more gyms don't do that the weeknight because we just have class and then class rolls right into open mat. So we have 6 p.m. class, 7 p.m. open mat, and it's a blast. It was a big boost for the gym.
I want to do the Thursday night one.
It's fun.
It's just working, you know, 312s, 14s, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
rough.
It's like, man,
Yeah.
it'd be really, I could do it, but I'd be sacrificing sleep.
You know what's funny is
It's just, oh,
sometimes like, you know, like I'm getting 44, right? So my body's being sore and I've rolled a lot of rounds that week.
so
and,
young.
Yeah, I know. I have all these complaints in my head and probably out loud if you ask my wife. Probably you guys too. You're like, oh, Bobby's always hurt. I'm not always injured, but I have a perpetual state of soreness, right? But then I have to stop when I start complaining, like, I could have, you know, a sales job like I had before and be working 60-hour weeks and trying to squeeze training in. I really need to stop and realize what I have and realize that I'm complaining about something that a lot of people would be like, yeah, I wish I could just work out and roll all day long.
Well, yeah, but also you got to pace yourself, right? Because you were going through that period. What was it? Because you don't go up on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings anymore.
No.
But when you were,
That was rough.
what we were doing, 60,
I was doing
rounds?
40 plus rounds a week back
Yeah,
then.
that's
No, I'm still like, I think last week I probably, if I were to add it all up between the 2 open mats and then rolls after class, and then we have Monday morning rolls, we have Thursday morning like leg lock class, which I've just been doing leg lock rounds with one of our students on those classes. I mean, if you count it all together, I still probably got like 30 plus rounds in last week.
Yeah, and that's still a lot. I mean, even if you're in your 20s and like in the best shape of your life, that's still a lot.
Yeah.
Like overtraining is an actual thing. It's a real thing.
I listed out. I think we're in some of the same like over 40 jiu-jitsu groups or whatever on
all
Facebook.
of them. Yeah.
And there was a blue belt, I think, asked like how about training volume, right? And they said, what are you guys doing for recovery? And I listed out like I have an 8 sleep bed, so it's temperature controlled because sleep is crucial to recovery. Peptides, hormone replacement therapy.
Red light therapy.
Yeah,
right
red
here.
light therapy. I use a vibration plate. I track every calorie I eat. I have a hot tub. I have a daylight panel for my AM light cortisol. I take 13, you said my supplement routine.
Yeah.
Like 13 supplements, and all my supplements are geared towards attacking inflammation, right? Because that's what the key to everything is, reducing inflammation in your body.
Yep.
So I just listed out this protocol of all these different things I do, and then my list of supplements. And then a bunch of people chimed in. So good. Like, I'm glad you did that because people who want to have the kind of volume you have need to see how seriously they need to be taking their recovery.
Recovery is super important. Like my philosophy is always 80% nutrition, 10% work, 10% rest.
Yeah.
And I would even say 10% rest, 10% work. Like rest is hugely important. And you kind of, we've done it with the gym, you know, when you work out and stuff, you feel like you're never training enough when actually you're training too much. You're just not allowing your body to recover.
Yeah, you can definitely overtrain, especially as you get older. Now, at the same time, that's why I like a fitness tracker that'll tell you where your recovery's at for the day, so you know how hard, like with real numbers, how hard you should or shouldn't push it.
Yep.
So, because it's really easy to justify to yourself not to do the work if you have no data behind it. Because, inherently, it's way better to, in a lot of people's mind, maybe people train themselves out of it, but human nature would be like, hey, yeah, sit on the couch, eat some food and watch Netflix. That's recovery. And I'm better off doing that than I am going, well, I've already worked out twice this week. Do I really need to go get another one in today? I can push it off till tomorrow morning. It's real easy. What does Joe Rogan call it? The inner bitch.
Yeah.
Real easy for that inner bitch to sneak in.
Yep.
So when you actually have data behind it, there's no excuses or justifications, or you realize if you are making an excuse or justification.
And we'll get into that like in future episodes, the importance of nutrition. Like I want to have my friend on because we've dabbled in carnivore. Yeah. I'm carnivore right now. He's carnivore. We do that right now. We adjust our diet based on our blood work.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I do mine every 3 months. And when I see something that I want to change, I adjust my diet for 3 months and then get tested again and see if that works. And so it's all about
I'm on a very similar protocol.
Yeah. So
maybe we can get him in from the doctor's office over there too to talk about the importance of blood work.
Which one?
My doctor.
Oh, ours?
Yeah.
Because
you see.
Well, I see one of them there.
Same clinic.
Yeah, same clinic.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And that's another thing too, is like that concierge medicine, the functional medicine. I can't stress enough how important that is to get away from the mainstream medical model that we have.
7 minutes in and out.
7 minutes in and out. Here's your prescription, and it's like that's not doing anything.
We're running low on time. You want to wrap it there for today and just keep it short and sweet?
Yeah.
All right, cool. And then come back in a week and we'll maybe expand and start talking more about that medical stuff.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in.
Bye.
Have a good one.